Like I said, I want to stay true to what I said about, hey, there's 28 other teams, other cities that wish their team was one of the Final Four that'll be playing this Sunday, FP. But this is not the BCS. It's not how pretty it looks. But I hold the Niners, and I have held this team collectively to a standard. And the defense, one of the highest paid defensive fronts, I expected them to just wreak havoc on young Jordan Love. That didn't happen. But at the end of the day, you know what happened, FP? As much as I want to sit here and start there, I won't. They held Green Bay to field goals. And that's why Green Bay didn't win the game. When the 49ers, however you look at it, I know they didn't get a lot of pressure on young Jordan Love, but when it was go time, including that last drive after the 50-yard run from Aaron Jones, FP, I got a different computer in my brain. I thought the game was over because I assumed Green Bay was going to score and go up 11. But the Niners held. However you say they held, Green Bay didn't do this or do that, but that was the one constant and theme that I had from the Niners defense, even the 4th and 1. For all the people that say it was a bad spot, the Niners defense kept holding to get them in a situation to where when they got that ball down for a touchdown could win it.
Dude, they clutched up when they had to clutch up.
They clutched up.
But here's the thing, I watched it with my son on Saturday, and I turned to him right away, and I said...
That's not a good thing. I saw your tweet.
We watched the last game we watched together.
The curse is over.
We watched the Eagles game together last year. We watched the NFC Championship game. But I turned to him, and I said, early in the first quarter, I said, we're in trouble. And he said, why? I go, I don't watch the play. I watch the line. And the Packers were dominating.
7.5-minute drive.
No, they were dominating the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Like offensively and defensively, and that scares me. And that's what I always go to early in the game. I'm not watching the ball. I'm not watching the plays. I'm watching Brock Purdy, and I was a little bit worried because he was, like I said, he's throwing knuckleballs all over the place. But I'm watching the line play, and that's where you go first. And the Packers dominated that all day long. So I think the way the Packers ran the football against the Niners. The Lions are a physical team. Obviously, Jared Goff is playing the best football of his life with the most confidence he's ever played.
Great coach.
He struggles historically against the Niners, but the way the Lions are playing right now with their swagger and their momentum and their physicality on both sides of the football, it's making me nervous. We got a big discussion with my buddies last night, and I'm like, take the Lions in 7. Is the line 7 right now? I would say take the Lions right now because I'm worried. And they're like, no, that was their one clunker. They're going to stomp the Lions because I think our mentality is it's the Lions, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the Lions that we
they
think
won if Green Bay can take you 15 rounds, why wouldn't you think Detroit can do more?
They're a better team.
Okay, no doubt.
And you can't play like you played this Sunday and win, obviously. So maybe they got the clunker out of the way.
There you go.
And that's all I'm thinking.
Yeah, and if you're a 49er fan, I'm envious. I got to be like that just to myself. You have to be ecstatic. You can critique, and we're here for you, 888-957-9570, FP and Guru holding it down. But there's so much to this game and so many different spots, FP, that I thought, okay, they're really in trouble. But I'll say this, and I heard the morning guys, and they touched on it a whole lot. I don't know what you think of Christian McCaffrey, but FP, he is arguably your best player. And I felt like with conditions being what they were, you know what? If you lose, let's lose feeding the hog. And I felt like Kyle got away with that. And maybe it's the trust that we didn't see that he didn't have for Jimmy Garoppolo. But, man, the Niners looked like they had Peyton Manning back there, all the empty sets to where, to me it's trust. It's Kyle trusting Brock Purdy to make the right decision. But you're right. There were a lot of Daffy, Oregons, Anaheim, a lot of Ducks in that rain. And I'm sitting here like, man, they were open, but you got a different game this week. There won't be rain. So should Niner fan just put that concern about the wet ball and the hand size away because there shouldn't be any rain in the forecast?
I mean, the best thing is Debo's 50-50. If Debo plays, it's a different story.
Oh, man.
And once he went out, now if I'm the Packers, I'm just locking in on McCaffrey, and I'm making Brock Purdy beat me. So now you're losing your options. And
98 hard yards.
Everybody was screaming, run the ball where I was at. Everybody, you can run the ball. But if you just run CMC and that's all you do, I don't think you're going to just run it down their throat. I mean, that defensive line for the Packers was amazing. So you still had to be creative, and you still had to think of ways to win the game. But I thought Kyle was real conservative. And I think the reason he was conservative with the clock management at the end of the first half was he went back to old Kyle Shanahan with with Jimmy G as his quarterback because he saw what Brock Purdy was bringing to the party.
Wow.
And now all of a sudden
because it had that Jimmy feel. No shade at Brock, but come on now.
His play calling became conservative like it does or did with Jimmy G because he was scared to take chances with Jimmy G. So you would see all these conservative play calling toward the end of the first half. And you're like, what are we doing? And that happened at the end of the first half. I don't think he had confidence in Brock Purdy. He saw the ball not coming out. He knows his own quarterback. He knows he has small hands. He knows, or whatever it is. Yeah. He knows he can't grip the ball in the rain. He's watching. He's watching what we're watching. So normally where he's going to put with Brock Purdy, his play calling with Brock Purdy has been the best we've ever seen because he can just call any play and have confidence in it. He can close his eyes, dartboard a play on the sidelines, send it in, and he knows that Brock's going to get him in the right set. He's going to check to the right play. He's going to read the defense. He's going to check down to the right receiver. So now whatever play call I call as a head coach, I have confidence in it. Now all of a sudden he's seeing what we're seeing. He's seeing maybe a nervous Brock. Brock can't grip the ball. The receivers are rounding out their routes instead of cutting the routes and running them crisp and on time. And so he started to get conservative. He started to pull back. He was going for points instead of like playing to win. I thought he was playing not to lose. I even tweeted it at the time. I'm like, if you play not to lose, you're going to lose.
No doubt about it. Almost like prevent defense. 49er fans, we are your sounding board. We want to hear from you because, FP, I don't know about you, but to me, forget Disneyland or Great America. That was a roller coaster of a game. I want to hear all your emotions. Call 888-957-9570. And the one thing you have to do when you call is be honest because there were junctures, and this is why we love sports. There were junctures to where I was like, like the Aaron Jones run for me. I was like, you're down 4. You need to stop. This man's running fast. But they held up. And last week I used the D word, destiny. And I said, Steiny, I feel like the Niners are a team of destiny. That wasn't how you drew it up. But maybe that's why the kick missed. Maybe that's why you were able to overcome the Debo injury. So I just feel like this team is on a mission. And you being the pro athlete of the show, you know what it's like. I want the Niners to punch this ticket, FP, as far as a champion and Kyle, because 3 straight trips, 4 out of the last 5 to the NFC Championship game. Coaches and fan bases would give their right arm for that. But my point is, at some point, you got to bring that home. You got to cash that check. So that's why I'm glad the Niners, it didn't look pretty, but like the guys in the morning kept saying, you live another day, and you got an opportunity to accomplish the ultimate goal, which is the Super Bowl.
Dude, we get to see another game. On Sunday, it's the NFC Championship. It's going to be 66 and sunny is the forecast right now.
Yeah.
No Michael Jackson gloves in the game. So, I mean, you just advance any way you can. And sometimes it's just your time. I remember Tim Flannery said this back in the time. Sometimes it's just your time. But then there's this big gorilla on their back, which is the NFC Championship game. And we get past this, but I'm wondering, like Niners fans today, like we were where I watched the game with a bunch of people.
Okay.
The atmosphere, I don't know what it was like at Levi's. I would love to hear some.
Monte said it was the loudest he was at the game, he ever heard it.
Where I was, people were waiting to lose.
Ooh,
it was this kind of pall cast over the whole place, and everybody was quiet. I was looking at the people I was with. I'm like, hey, man, there's a lot of game left. They're going to find a way to win this.
But the signs were there, FP. Yeah. They were being real.
Yeah. It's just everyone's waiting to lose. So, like, our Niner fans, like, anything but a parade on Market Street, are we all just going to be like, fire Kyle Shanahan? This is terrible. What a terrible loss if they lose to the Lions this week or if they get to the Super Bowl and lose. I feel like the expectations are so high right now because this team is so good that if they don't win a Super Bowl, Niner fans are just going to be pissed off.
You know what? I love that, and I'm going to give you my thought after we take these calls because today is about you, the Niner fans, rejoicing in a big victory that keeps your season alive. Let's start with Steve in San Francisco. What's up, Steve?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Talk to us.
Good to get on the line this morning. Hey, this is more. I got a question, then I got a statement. The question is, Brock Purdy, when he goes back to pass, one thing that I noticed, like you see in still shots and stuff, he doesn't switch the ball to the strings like most quarterbacks. He throws it how he gets it. So this time he'll be throwing the ball from the other side of the strings. Now, he throws some pretty spirals. I don't know if that's part of it, but that ball can slip out of your hands a lot more when you're not on the strings. So the question is that a correct statement or observation?
Well, I'll just do this, and FP, you can speak to all the different batting stances and how you hold the bat, choke up or not, but it's got him this far, and I hadn't noticed that, but I guess what I'll say is up until the rain game and maybe the Cleveland game this season, I can honestly tell you I hadn't heard a caller even talk about that. So I don't know what was going on with him gripping the ball and how he throws it, but the dude has been stellar up until, yesterday, which was arguably his worst playoff game out of the 3 he's been in.
Dude, I thought Fox did a great job of it. Did you see that one replay where he got the snap?
What are you?
He put the ball in his left hand.
You can't do that.
And he wiped his hand on his pants. Did you see that? All in one motion.
And he got away with it.
I was like, what is he doing? Like, that's telling you right there. And, I mean, I did play quarterback for a long time in high school, and I do have small hands. And whenever it was, I went to Oak Ridge High School, Colorado Hills, and I switched to receiver my senior year. But like my father was a high school football coach, so I grew up breaking down film. But I'm saying, like, as a quarterback with small hands, if you're looking on YouTube right now,
I'm looking at his hand.
I'm admitting this.
Real quick.
You know what they say about
people want to see.
You know what they say about small hands?
They don't look small, but I got you.
Yeah.
Small gloves.
Small gloves. I couldn't throw a wet ball. I mean,
Wow.
and I don't think anybody, even with big hands, likes to throw a wet football. And you think in the NFL that they're wiping down balls and they're bringing new footballs in every play, but like I'm just not going to use that as an excuse.
Yeah,
like, you got to find a way.
And Brock didn't do it either.
You can't.
Credit.
You can't.
We keep it real here, 10-2. I keep thinking, like, had they not punched that, got it in on that last drive, it would be Armageddon. So I just want people, gurus telling you, have some perspective, because there are some things that, you put under the concern column, but at the end of the day, you are in your 3rd straight NFC championship with an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl. And the last time, FP, I don't got to tell you this, that the Niners hosted the NFC championship game, bang, bang, they ended up playing the Kansas City Chiefs. We won't even talk about what happened in that game. They should have won it.
Who do you want in the AFC if they do win this week? We can't get ahead of this week. The Lions are going to be tough.
You know what? When I knew we were getting busy like Arsenio Hall today.
Who are you rooting for in the Bills game?
I'm going to tell you, I had a question for you. I was rooting for Lamar Jackson, but what Patrick Mahomes did and where I thought in the world had him and Andy at, like it was over and it was rotten, or not just his play was bad, but they were just like over. I was moved that they won that game. So I'm going to ask you before I answer, if he were a baseball player, Patrick Mahomes, who would he be? Because the dude he's special, man. And he made Tom Brady, if you're listening, this is no shade, like he's up there. Like, I want to say to you and the masses, he may be the best quarterback I've ever seen.
Wow, that's a bold statement. Joe's the best quarterback I've ever seen, period.
Right.
But what Patrick Mahomes is doing, and I watched that show Quarterbacks on Netflix.
Oh,
Did
it
you
was
see
awesome,
that?
yeah.
That's when I fell in love with this guy. He's just a champion. He's a winner. Like the way he talks to his teammates, the way he calls a play, the way he improvises, just the mentality that he has, you can't teach. So he's got that intangible, plus the talent, plus the work ethic.
Yeah.
He's got everything. And I went from admiring Patrick Mahomes to like really loving this guy once I watched that show. And he's got the baseball ties. He was a shortstop, and he kind of plays quarterback like a shortstop, all the different arm angles. He's a great athlete back there. And I think it's better that they're advancing. And we were getting into this discussion watching the game. Everybody I was with last night is sick of Taylor Swift, and I think it's great. I can't get enough shots of her. I think it's great that she's bringing.
What's great about it?
She's bringing fans to a sport that would never watch the sport. Baseball needs a Taylor Swift.
Shut me up with
baseball
that
needs.
right there. Okay,
baseball
is
needs
that it?
More eyes on the game. Anything that promotes the game and gets more eyes on the game. I'm in the minority in this take, by the way. Everybody I was with yesterday watching the game was like, come on, dude, we're sick of this.
It's like sometimes she's bigger than the game.
No, she's
get it back on the players. Dude, I don't want to see her.
She's a supportive girlfriend.
Right.
And maybe I'm just jealous because I've never had a supportive girlfriend. And I'm seeing her up there like with just going nuts every time Travis Kelce does something. And I'm like, that's badass. Like she's awesome. All in, dude. She's invested. This isn't about the cameras. And like I said, it's growing the game, and anything that grows the game, I'm all for.